The older he got, the less Frank believed in anything. Looking back over his life since leaving his hometown of Shanson, North Dakota, he mostly saw a trail of busted dreams and failed marriages.
Shanson don't even exist anymore. Wasn't much of a place to begin with, but now there's no one and nothing to go back for. Even if I wanted to.
Sometimes he'd imagine a different life. He'd be driving his new Bentley. No, that would be much too unrealistic for Frank. He'd be driving his nearly new Subaru Forester through the snow, the back seat piled high with Christmas presents and a tree tied on the roof, heading home to where he was loved and wanted. He'd call on his cell phone.
My wife. A name. What's her name? What would her name be? Ruth. Always liked Ruth. Close to truth. Hi, honey, I'm not far away now. And she would reply, be careful, hon. We want you home. We miss you. We love you.
But Frank was on the other track. The one where he was driving his beat-up Chevy pickup through the snow. It had 250,000 hard miles under the hood, and so did he. And there was no tree, no pile of Christmas presents, and no wife whose name was Ruth. He'd been driving for hours, leaving the freeway for a highway and turning off onto a 2-lane blacktop that was no longer black, but white from the falling snow. He had passed the bright houses with their Christmas lights, and now there was only darkness ahead. The snow was thicker, piling in ridges on the wipers and frosting the mirrors. The radio was acting up. It did that sometimes when the temperature dropped, and the music cut in and out. Music, and that was another dream unfulfilled. Maybe the last one and the biggest, the most personal. He always wanted to sing. He dreamt of being a tenor like his dad, who had a voice that filled the Shanson Community Hall, swept into the audience's souls and made them weep with its passion. But Frank couldn't sing 2 good notes and knew his father was always disappointed in him. The truck slipped sideways. Snow packed the treads and it was dangerous to go much farther. There was a yellow light ahead, smeared into a star on the windshield. He saw a low building and stopped. Outside was a snow-speckled sign that said something Community Hall, but he saw no vehicles or tire tracks. He pushed open the doors and entered. The hall was warm, and every seat was filled, men, women, and children. At the far end was a nativity scene with kids dressed like angels and shepherds. A woman at a piano was playing a Christmas song, and Frank found a chair at the back of the hall, sat, and listened as everyone sang. It was a wonderful sound, and he wished he could join in. An elderly man in a Christmas sweater, better left without description, fussed up to him and pushed a sheet of paper into his hands. "I thought you'd never make it. The night would have been ruined," he said, and tapped the paper. "Just follow the instructions when the kids stop singing." He was gone before Frank could say he was mistaken, or to tell him he looked a bit like his dad. The lights dimmed. They all had candles and were lighting them from their neighbors. A young woman offered him one, and he lit it from hers. The hall became golden. Frank read the instructions. It said quite clearly it was his time to stand up, and so he did.
It came upon the midnight.
Everyone turned toward the back of the hall. Frank stood there in the center of the aisle. He held the candle high as he sang. Not too well at first.
Bending near the earth to touch their harps of gold.
And then Frank's heart opened, and he really sang. His soul and his spirit sang, and all the shattered fragments of his hopes and dreams returned intact to lend their tone and to make his voice beautiful.
Beneath the angel's train have rolled.
Frank's voice soared over the congregation and swept into their hearts. They wept with its beauty, man, woman, and child. Frank wept too as he sang. His own voice cloaked him. It protected him. It was his dream come true. It was his Christmas present.
And hear the angels sing.
He was in the truck, heading out, and didn't remember how he got there, but it didn't matter.
I sang. I sang! You hear me? I sang! Me!
Clouds parted and the moon turned the snow into glittering crystals.
Beautiful. How beautiful. And when was the last time I thought anything was beautiful? But it is beautiful. All of it. The road, the hills, the night sky.
A thought struck him and would not go away.
Okay. So maybe my life hasn't turned out the way I wanted, but whose does? And this is my time to be alive. There won't be another one for Frank Starr. And I have things to do. Fences to be mended. And a life to live.
A road sign appeared out of the darkness. It said, "Leaving Shanson." Frank grinned, settled back in his seat, and sang. He sang for himself, and the sound was beautiful.
It came upon a midnight clear, that glorious song of old, from angels bending near the earth to touch their harps of gold. I sang. Merry Christmas.